Yes. And I thought it would be important if we go back to see, where did this start? Why is sin in the world? Where did it come from? And also the importance of repenting. And the best way to explain this, I thought, would be to look at how God interacts with his creation and how the cycle of sin keeps happening. So we're going to look at 4 examples on how God interacts with his creation and then that cycle of sin. We're going to look at Lucifer, humanity, or Adam and Eve, the Israelites, Judah, and the church. So we're going to start off with Lucifer. Now, God interacts with his creation in a 4-phase cycle. First, he makes them clean or innocent, or a cleansing process. We have character development with trials that has growth. Of course, that means you're doing good. And then also sin. When we're going towards the path of sin, God warns us and to give us time for repentance. And then after a time, God does judge. So then there's judgment that occurs. And that cycle happens over and over again all throughout the Bible. And we're going to see 4 examples of that. And then we have what I call the cycle of sin, because it seems like we keep going through this same cycle as we're interacting with God. So we're turning away from God. We face the consequences. We cry out for help, and then deliverance and redemption occurs. And then we go right back to where we started from. So the first one I said we were going to look at is going to be Lucifer, which is important because then we can understand where this sin came from. So God's interaction with Lucifer. So he created a clean spirit being. And what Lucifer needed to do was sustain his cleanliness, but he went into sin. So there was warning for Lucifer, including the cast down to the earth. And when we look at judgment, this is something that's going to happen later, which is going to be the lake of fire. So that's something in the future. Now, when we look at this, we know that Lucifer turned away from God and he faced the consequences. I don't think he went through steps 3 and 4 from what I can see in the Bible. What about you, Sam?
Crying out for help and deliverance. Okay, yes, Katrina, I can see what you mean by the absence of points 3 and 4. We don't see him crying out for help, and we don't see him requesting deliverance, and we certainly don't see redemption. In fact, we see Christ talking about Lucifer, or his new name, Satan or the devil, being a liar right from the beginning. So, frankly, it isn't easy to completely grasp what happened in Lucifer's mind, but it does seem, as you said, that he turned away and that he had to face his consequences. And there doesn't seem to be much repenting going on, or much crying out for help or redemption at all.
Right. So then we look at God's intervention for that. And God intervening is Tahu Bohu, and going from there to light. Now, it was very eye-opening for me to realize that God calls the Tahu Bohu. Sam, I know that that's something that you help explain to me, that's something God calls. And when it came to this in Genesis 1 and 2, this formless and void, this chaotic situation, when God moved upon the face of the water and cleared that up, after the fall of the spirit being to the physical earth. And that's when we read that when God came on the scene and it says, let there be light, the renewal of the face of the earth, and it was clean again. So that was God's intervention when Lucifer turned away.
Yes, that's basically what happened.
Uncover the mystery of Adam and Eve's nakedness. Unravel the ambiguous connection between the Hebrew term for naked and the serpent's subtlety. Join us for this free mini-course and gain a profound new perspective on biblical Hebrew. TheExplanation.com/naked